Hello, I'm James. This is my ELM test prep series. Welcome. This particular episode is about long division. I'm going to divide 5 into 125. This little box here indicates that I have division going on here, division operation. My divisor is this number out here. The dividend, which is the number inside, is this number here, the dividend. And the quotient is the answer I'm going to get from my division. Alright, now we know some names. It doesn't help us much in our math, but it's nice to know. Okay, so let's divide 5 into this number. If I look at dividing 5 into 1, obviously I can't divide 5 into 1, so I looked over one digit, and I see that I can divide 5 into 5 into 12. And so at approximately 2 times 5, I'm going to get 10. I make a guess here that it'll go in 2 times, and then I multiply times that 5 and get this value of 10. Well, then I change the sign, and now I'm going to add this value to that value. Well, 12 minus 10 is going to be 2. And then we're going to go over and bring down the next number in this sequence. I've already done these 2 numbers, and I'm going to bring the next number down. 5 into 25, I'm pretty sure it goes 5 times, so I put an estimate up here of 5, and then I'm going to multiply that times 5, and then the result of that I will put down here at 25. I will then change the sign and add these two, plus 25 minus 25, results in 0, and so I have no remainder. Well, if I have no remainder, this division 5 divided evenly into 125 25 times, so my answer is 25. Well, that was pretty straightforward, and hopefully you noticed what I did. I made some estimate of what I thought, how many times it would take to divide the number into this. I estimated 5 would go into 12 approximately 2 times. Then I multiplied that guess times the 5 and brought it down here. I changed the sign and added. Now later on you may end up working with a negative number, and this will be important, the idea of changing this sign. You might have a minus number up here, and then you'd have a minus here, and then you change the sign to a plus and add. So the idea of subtraction is change the sign and add. Okay, so then I said I estimate 5 times 5 was 25, and sure enough it came out evenly. Alright, so let's look at these ideas in this process in a little bit larger context. Let's divide 19 into 703. I could look at this 19 and say, well, that's approximately 20, and estimate dividing by 20. 20 goes into 70. I know 3 times 20 is 60, so that's pretty close. So I'd make an estimate of 3 here. I then multiply 3 times my 19, and 3 times 9 is 27. And I have a carry of 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus the carry makes 3, and 2 is 5. And so 3 times 19 is 57. Well, then I say, okay, I'm going to subtract this. Well, I'm going to have to borrow because I have 7 from 0. So I'm going to borrow 1 from this. I'll borrow 10. We borrow the base. 10 take away 7 is 3. I've reduced this down to a 6 because I borrowed 1. 6 take away 5. I forgot, change the sign and add. Here I am subtracting with a positive. So 6 and plus 6 and minus 5 leaves me 1. So 13 was the leftover from that multiplication. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring down my next number. Bring down the 3. So 133. Well, if this were 20, and this is we're 120, it would go in 6 times. So I make an estimate of 6 here. Well, 6 times 9 is 54 with a carry of 5. And 6 times 1 is 6, and then I add it to the carry to make it 11. I brought my carry out here where I could see it rather than put it inside here. I brought it out here so that when I bring my 6 times the 1 is 6, and then I add it to that carry. So that's one way to deal with your carries sometimes. Now I'm going to change the sign and add. Well, 4, I'm going to subtract 4 from 3. I can't do it. I'm going to borrow 1 from here. I'm going to borrow 10. 10 to take away 4 is 6, plus 3 is 9. This is now a 2. 2 take away 1 is 1. And I say, oh my goodness, I really could have divided by 1 more 19. So here's what I'm going to do. Rather than go back and erase all this, I'm just going to put a 1 up here and divide by 1 more. 1 times 19 is 19. And now I have a 0 remainder. Well, you say, what the heck do I do with that now? Well, the 3 is okay. The 6 here, if it had been a 7, I'd have got it evenly. So I noticed that my estimate was 6, but then I was short. I forgot to change my sign here. I was short by 1, so I did 1 more division. So now I'm going to add the 6 and the 1 to be a 7, so 37 is my answer. I do this process because it allows me to make quicker estimates as to what will go into this. And if I'm short a little bit, then I can always add to it and divide more out of it. Otherwise, I have to think in my mind ahead of time and say, okay, 6, let's try 7, and mentally processing these numbers. And I'm prone to making wrong estimates. So this method helps me do that. Well, let's try another problem here before time runs out on us. I'm going to divide 17 into 2,295. All right. So, once again, I'm going to make some estimates here. I'm going to guess this to be, or estimate this to be 20. 20 goes into 22 one time. One times 17 is 17, and that is out of ink. 17. I'm going to change the sign then and add these two. Well, 22 take away 7. One way to do this, 17, 3, if I add 3 to this, I get 20, and then I have 2 more. So I count up 3 plus the 2, so my subtraction leaves me with 5. Some people may be a little quicker and just say, oh yeah, that's obviously 5. Well, I can go backwards and say 5 and 7 is 12 and carry it over. But in my subtraction, maybe I'm not that fast, which I'm not. So now I'm going to bring down my next digit, 59. I'm going to divide 17 into 59, and again, I estimate this to be a 20 and this to be a 60, so it looks like I can estimate 3, that 17 will go in 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. Bring my carry over here. 3 times 1 is 3, plus the 2 makes this 51. Okay. Change the sign and add. Well, 59 and a minus 51. I'm going to have 8 here. And I'm going to bring down the next digit, 5. Well, I already know that I'm pretty close to 60. If I estimate this to be 20 again, I can go into 84 times. I may have a little remainder here, but we'll see. 4 times 7 is 28 with a carry of 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus that 2 makes this 68. All right, change the sign and add. Well, 8 from 5, I'm going to have to borrow. So I borrow the base. I borrow 10. This is now a 7. 8 take away, 10 take away, this is really 15. but I'm going to take 8 from the 10 and then add the 5. 10 take away 8, that's easy. That's 2 plus 5 is 7. Then I don't have to think about taking 8 from 15. I want this to be fast and easy. I want it to be as mistake-free as possible. So now 6 from 7 is 1, and I realize, oh yeah, I could have divided this by 5 the first time, but I'm going to go back and correct that. I'm going to put a 1 up here on top of that. 1 times 17 is 17, and now I have a remainder of 0. So I'm going to go back and look at my answer, my quotient here, 1, 3. I'm going to add those two terms. 135 is my answer. All right. I hope that was interesting and instructive. I used some techniques that maybe you're not familiar with this adding and going back, and if I've fallen short in my estimate, I go back and I just do one more division of whatever value that is. And then I just add up all those digits in that level of operation. Since all the divisions were in this section, I'm going to add up my numbers there. If I had made some low estimates in here, then I would be adding numbers over in this section. But try this stuff out. You might find that you like this idea of lower estimates and catching up after the fact. It saves a lot of thinking in your head and thinking ahead in your multiplication, and it makes it easier to come to a quick decision on that. All right. So that's long division, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was, and hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes. This is James. Have a good day.